Day 118 of my daily faith pill, Tuesday, April 28th, when everything seems to work against you. And we know that in all things, God works for the good of those who love him, who have been called according to his purpose. Romans 8:28. Have you ever woken up to a cascade of setbacks? Perhaps you missed your alarm, suddenly late for an important appointment. Rushing to prepare, the shower refuses to cooperate, forcing you to scramble for water. Then the taxi you called is nowhere in sight. In that moment, everything feels aligned against you. And frustrated cry escapes, God, what's going on? What if I told you that what appears to be everything working against you might actually be working powerfully for you? This perspective shift is unlocked when we truly grasp what it means that God orders our footsteps. When we anchor our faith in God's love, embracing the truth that all things work together for our good, our entire outlook on life transforms. The way we perceive difficulties, the way we see daily events, it all changes. Consider the journey of the Israelites. The direct route from Egypt to the Promised Land, flowing with milk and honey, should have taken about 11 days. Yet they wandered for 40 long years. It's easy to look back and feel frustrated on their behalf, asking, why the delay? But God had a specific reason. He revealed that if they took the shorter route, they might encounter war and be tempted to turn back towards Egypt. Therefore, he guided them a longer path. In essence, God was strategically protecting their minds and hearts. To them, it must have felt like unnecessary suffering or divine frustration. They couldn't see that God had already paved the way ahead of them. We often cannot comprehend the reasons behind what happens in our lives. But one truth must remain central to our focus and heart. God is on our side. Once we settle that deep within, we find peace knowing he is directing the path. God prevents us from seeing certain outcomes because knowing the whole truth might cause us to abort the mission. Imagine asking God for passage to a prosperous new country, perhaps the US, where you envision a beautiful future, finding a spouse, establishing a successful career, and impacting the world. God agrees and opens the door, but what you don't see is that the first 5 years in that new land will involve homelessness, squatting, living hand to mouth. If you currently have a stable 9-to-5 job, faced with the choice between your current comfort and 5 years of struggle before achieving that glorious future, you might instinctively choose to stay put. In doing so, you would miss out entirely on God's planned blessings. So what does God do? He allows you to see the magnificent culmination of your journey, not the temporary, agonizing steps required to get there. He knows that seeing the hardship would make you retreat. Therefore, we must hold fast to the assurance that God is working on your behalf. No matter the current pressure or confusion, remember that you serve a living God who is constantly beside you, has your back, and never will leave you or forsake you. As you step out today, remember this profound reality. God is for you. He sees you, he loves you immensely, and he guarantees your ultimate success. This is true. That's why, in our earthly bodies, because we are not divine beings like God is, all powerful, all knowing, all everything, knowing our future day by day would be terrible because yes, maybe you will become that billionaire, but the steps that it takes to get there, you might have a tragic car accident on the way and that will completely shift everything. And we don't know what's going to happen. And sometimes it's best for us not to know. We just go through it day by day, I know that sometimes I can struggle with that. I'm like, I just want to know what happens next. I need clarity on what's going on. But God sometimes, he's not giving us clarity or he's delaying our path, like it said about the Israelites, 40 years in the desert. He's delaying our path because he's even protecting us from certain things. And we just need to be grateful every day because the Lord works in the background sometimes. And we may not quite understand what's going on, but as Romans 8:28 states, he works everything according to our good for the people. What did it say again here? I always forget to quote it correctly. Of those who love him, who have been called according to his purpose, right? So don't worry. If you've been called according to his purpose, he will work everything for your good.